Well, I fucked up. I got home Saturday night from my party with LeBron, you know how it be. And then I realized, oh shit, there ain't no UFC. Great, fantastic. I made all of my videos for the Israel Adesanya fight week. And it turns out that that wasn't even the fight week. But you know, that's how shit is sometimes, man. That's how shit is sometimes. So, for the next week, I'm just going to be rambling about random shit. And today, we're starting off with Daniel D.C. Cormier. Now, when you look at this guy, or when new fans look at this guy, you just see a fat lard who is extremely biased towards wrestlers in his commentating. A guy who constantly cooks himself to praise John Jones whenever it's John Jones fight week. And a guy who carries on packing the pounds. Just can't help himself, quite simply. But what if I told you that this absolute fatty right here was actually a UFC double champ? Yes, this absolute lord of meat and blubber became a champion in two different weight divisions when both of the divisions were absolutely fucking stacked. Now, to talk about DC, we really gotta go from the start. Now, DC came into MMA as a very accomplished Olympic wrestler. Now, I'm not gonna act like I know a lot about wrestling as a sport. I ain't even American, okay? I'm from the UK. I don't understand that shit one bit. But the guy went to the Olympics and won, so I gotta assume that he was pretty good. Now, DC would have no time to muck about and mess about in his MMA career. He would immediately start his MMA career in the Strikeforce promotion. Now, when we talk about MMA promotions nowadays that aren't the UFC, they're fucking dreadful. Bellator doesn't exist. One Championship fucking cares about Mikey Mushemi boot scooting more than they care about fucking MMA. PFL sucks. The guy, the head of PFL isn't even a fan of MMA. The PFL just isn't good. They had their biggest fight ever, which was good to be fair, but apart from that, they suck as an organization. And the GFL signed Tony Ferguson in 2025, okay? MMA organizations that aren't the UFC now are shit. But don't get it confused. Strikeforce was an actual competitor to the UFC. If we look at when the two organizations merged, the amount of champions that we got from Strikeforce was crazy. DC is one of them, obviously, and even in DC's own gym, Luke Rockhold will become a champion in the UFC. So Strikeforce was fucking legit, and DC would go undefeated in Strikeforce, picking up genuinely good wins against people like Antonio Silva and former UFC champion Josh Barnett. Now, at this point in time, DC was 11-0, and Strikeforce would be bought out by the UFC. So all the top talent from Strikeforce that the UFC wanted were going to the UFC. Now, DC would have a fast rise up the light heavyweight division, picking up genuinely really good wins. In his debut, he beat former champion Frank Mir, then Roy Nelson, then Patrick Cummins, which is nobody really. But then he'd also pick up another fantastic win in former Pride champion Dan Henderson. Now, at this point, we're 15-0, and who's the champion at light heavyweight? Maybe the greatest of all time, John fucking Jones. Now, as you can imagine, DC would go on to lose his fight against John Jones, but because John Jones is just a mentally unstable freak, he would have to vacate the belt due to various reasons. Now, at this point, the belt is vacant, okay? So, DC versus Rumble Johnson would be the fight that was made, and DC, after a bit of struggle in the fight, you know, getting put in his ass, would go on to win by rear naked choke. Now, at this point, he's champion in the first division, light heavyweight. He'd go on to defend it 3 times against Gus, Anderson Silva, and Rumble once again, until he would fight John Jones, where he would lose, but not really, because John Jones pops, because, you know, he's a fucking idiot. And then at this point, DC would have one more title defense against Volkan Oezdemir and say, I'm taking my talents to heavyweight, where he would go on to fight, in most people's opinion, the heavyweight GOAT, Stipe Miocic, where he would KO him in the first round. So this fat lad is now double champ. Now, DC planned to actually, you know, defend both titles at the same time, but he would drop the light heavyweight title and then fight Derek Lewis in his first heavyweight title defense, winning in the second round by rear naked choke. Now at this point, DC would have to rematch Stipe Miocic, and DC's at the top of the world. He's fairly old, he's in his late 30s, about 40 years of age, 39, 40, but he's a double champ on top of the world. But he would lose to Stipe Miocic in their rematch after actually winning the earlier portions of the fight, and then would lose the trilogy and announce his retirement in 2020 at the age of 41. Now, DC didn't go out right. He went out on 2 losses, but it's important to remember that this guy only has 3 losses in his career, one of them being to a lot of people's GOAT, and then the other 2 being to a lot of people's heavyweight GOAT. DC only lost to the best, and he was the best. He was a fucking double champ by being undersized for both divisions. This guy was heavyweight champ at 5'11". 5'11". This guy's smaller than me, okay? So just remember, man, you may be fat, you may be a fat lad, but you could be double champ in the UFC one day. Now I'm probably just going to be doing videos like this whenever there's not fight weeks, because you know what else is there to talk about. Maybe I'll go on another rant about Conor McGregor being addicted to coke. But anyway, man, thank you for watching. Much love from me to you. Like, subscribe, check out my Instagram, it will be in the description of this video. Much love, take care of yourself, goodbye.